It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, June the 16th. Good morning. I like Fridays. I like weekends. This weekend especially is going to be action-packed for this KQ Morning Show and a few other of our good friends from the station. We got a karaoke cruise tonight. We got a big beer kickoff at Leinenkugel tomorrow. My band Bagman's playing. We decided to play nothing but Rush covers.
Yes.
And then we tried it, and I said, no, we're done. We're going back to our own thing. I'm sorry. I put Rush on. I get the headphones on, and I get excited. I'm at the age where I don't air drum anymore, and then I hear Spirit of Radio, and I start air drumming because that's just how it happens.
Yeah, we're all air drummers when Rush comes on.
Oh, I still get excited. I still like rock music. Go ahead, sue me, Zepp. Yell at me. I like rock music.
I'm going to give you a pass on this one, Steve. I'm right there shoulder to shoulder with you on
Thank you, brother.
Digging the rock music.
I do appreciate it.
Gets the juices flowing. Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's Father's Day weekend, but who cares? I mean, dads are easy. You know, it's like whatever. No one knows to get for their dad, and dad doesn't even want anything. It's not like Mother's Day when we get all lovey-dovey and excited.
I think dads get uncomfortable, actually, when you get the, now I'm going to have a dad, all sorts of dads messaging me today going, hey, jerk, I love it when I get stuff. But we finally capitulated and we'd get dad like the Cabela's gift card. He loves to hunt and fish, you know. Right. But Cabela's was down in Mitchell. That was like an hour-and-a-half drive. And he'd be like, well, thank you very much. And then Mom would tell us that he'd secretly complain, no, I got to drive down there an hour and a half and spend I'll spend more in gas than I get in a gift card.
My dad actually took me aside. He said, no more cigars. No more. No more.
What are you trying to do to me?
Yeah.
I'm trying to eat right. I'm trying to get my life together. You keep giving me these cigars. Okay, so Father's Day, again, literally, that's what it is. Happy Father's Day to all the dads, to us and to everybody. Mm-hmm. That's it. But I have to start on a story that I read last night, and I'm beyond mind blown. We've all had bosses that we didn't necessarily like. We've all had bosses that, let's just say it, they're jerks. We've all had bad bosses. This is the craziest story I've ever heard about a bad boss. The entire thing, especially that it's happening in 2023, puts this to the top of the list. If you've ever had a bad boss, if you've ever had the boss that you go, oh, this is the worst thing a boss ever did, heads up for this one. Because this is not only unethical and immoral, it's highly illegal. There's a few restaurants in Northern California called the Taqueria Garibaldi. And the guy that runs the place, well, his name is Che Garibaldi. That's his name. He has a lot of employees at a lot of locations, and he thought, he looked around one day and said, a lot of my employees are practicing Catholics. It's a Latino workforce, and a lot of them, of course, they're at church every Sunday. A lot of them go every day. He's like, let me help them out. Maybe I'll bring a priest by just to offer any priestly services, like say confession. Maybe some of my employees would like to have a moment to confess their sins, and I'll bring a priest in. And he did that. And the priest sat with a bunch of employees and said, is there anything you want to get off your chest? And then the priest would say things like, have you ever cheated on your time card?
Wait a minute.
Have you ever stolen any food or money or anything? You ever taken anything from the restaurant?
What?
It wasn't a priest. It was a guy posing as a priest who would then turn in a list of employees' discretions to the boss so that he could fine or fire them.
Oh, that's pretty brilliant.
It's brilliant and horrible.
I'm impressed and, disgusted all at the same time.
He even asked, do you have any ill intentions toward the boss? Do you have any problems with him personally?
What?
This is unbelievable. I mean, the guy who identified himself as a priest, he wasn't. And while on the clock, he encouraged them to confess their sins. And again, a lot of people were like, well, hey, I can kill two birds with one stone. My boss brought the guy in, so it's fine to do this while I'm on the clock. And again, the guy immediately turned in his list to the boss. And then, and then a few people finally were like, hey, wait a minute. I told this to the priest, and now I'm getting fired. Yeah. And, of course, they contacted some authorities. The Department of Justice as in the DOJ got involved. They're like, you cannot possibly do this. There's 35 employees, 35 that put their names on this and said, yeah, this is crazy. $70,000 in back pay, $70,000 in damages spread throughout the 35 people, because as soon as they got bounced and fined and taken, like hours removed from their time cards, they complained like right away, and it blew right up. It's just mind-boggling to me, and like I think about it, like, what's the worst thing a boss ever did to me? I can't imagine that. Like, the thinking of it, like, let me see, how can I find out who's plotting against me?
Right.
How can I find out who left with that bag of cheese? What the hell?
That, and I mean, you played right into their. You said you have a Latino workforce that's Catholic.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to see through a false priest in about 1 second. You had no chance. You do that around here and say, hey, you got to give confessions up. I'm like, I've never, what the hell is that? You can ask me any question you want. I wouldn't see through it. I wouldn't do it, but, or maybe I'd just have some fun with it. But yeah, that's
you know how
that's
you
wrong
know
on a lot
you know
of
how
levels.
when you're given a confession, you know how you know the priest is a fake. I say this as a kid who grew up Catholic. If he doesn't make horrible jokes to make you more comfortable. If he, because when I came of age in the 70s in church, they start one day it was announced we're going to do face-to-face confession. It was like a modern way to do it instead of in the box through the screen. And I mean, it was like a chill went through the like face-to-face confession. And then the next thing I know, I'm like in 5th grade. I'm sitting across. I'm just looking at a priest in a brightly lit room, and he's like, but he was like, "Hey, it's okay." And again, the cornball jokes trying to make me comfortable. And I didn't. I'm 12 or 11, and I was like, I'm like everybody I know, you made up sins because you didn't know what to say. I stole a bike. You did? I brought it back though. Just sitting there.
Yeah, just.
But I bet this guy was too smooth. To your point, Zep, I bet this priest was like way too actually pious and general. I bet he stuck to a script, and they were like, something's fishy about this guy.
This isn't working. He's really focused on the workplace, and those aren't actually sins. I don't know that showing up for late to work, does that qualify as a Catholic sin?
My favorite is, do you have any ill intentions toward the boss? By the way, anybody ever had any ill intentions toward your boss? Yeah, every job I ever had. I can't help it.
No kidding. I don't. This isn't on that level, but the first radio job I took in Aberdeen, South Dakota, just didn't pay squat, but I get hired, and I'm just happy to be working at a radio station. Here we go with the old radio career. And I'm about a week into it. He gets us all together. The boss and general manager own the radio station. Gets us all there in one room and says, hey, listen, good news, bad news. Bad news is I can't pay everyone. We just aren't making that much money, and I may have overhired or overpromised some wages. And but anyway, can't afford to pay. But I have this great new system. And what we're going to do is we have a certain amount of money for payroll. And so if you guys will just come to me, instead of issuing paychecks, just let me know what you need for rent, for gas money, for groceries or whatever, and we'll just kind of dole it out as we go. Yeah, kind of like when they were closing up the bank in A Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
No, Jimmy, how much you need just to get you through the holidays? $11. All right, here you go, $11.
Nice.
You're beautiful. That's a horrible, horrible impression.
I kind of liked it, actually. I was not expecting that at all.
That was a great red fox.
Thank you.
Really
Shut up, dummy.
right on the money.
Shut up, dummy.
It's fantastic.
Anyway, that was, and we just sat there and rolled our eyes, and I thought, okay, well, that was a fast radio job. I need to get the hell out of here. But yeah, the old, just take a buck out of the jar on your way out the door.
My first, when I was 21, I moved to Atlanta, and my first job was the doorman at a club, and the guy that at a bar / club that had bands playing on weekends. And the guy that hired me, this dude Jeff, he was the first night he came in, he started yelling at me about I guess the way I had the money in the bin at the door. It was just like in a. It was just like in a bowl, like a serving bowl. I just had cash, and there was no setup. It was just I didn't know what to do. And the guy just said, "Here, just put some money in here, and it's $5 cover, and just make change." And then he came in, and the guy was like, "What are you doing? It's crazy." And I looked at him. I go, "Hey, dude, you're drunk." And he goes, "Yeah. Well, why aren't you?"
Why aren't you? You're right.
I was like, he went from the worst boss to the best boss in 1 second. I was like, oh, good point. And I went and got a giant Foster's oil can. I was like, cool, I'll drink this. It's Friday, June 16th. Happy Father's Day, pops out there. Oh, you papas. It's a nice weekend for the KQ morning crew over here. The morning show will be on the KQ karaoke cruise tonight. We'll be at Leinenkugel tomorrow. We'll be talking about both throughout the show. You can always go to 92kqrs.com to get details and buy tickets and come out and hang out and have fun. How about that?
Woo.
Or, let's see. Well, no, there's no or. That's what you should do.
Yeah.
Hang out tonight and tomorrow with us. Come on, let's do it. Again, with that, it's time for the Mike Evans Hollywood Report. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. You're a father.
I am.
Happy Father's Day. Do you know who gave us Father's Day?
I don't.
It was 1972. I was the president. I'm not a crook, Richard Nixon.
Richard Nixon made Father's Day an official holiday.
Did not expect the tricky dick out of Mike Evans today.
There you go.
That's exciting.
There you go. I love it. Hey, got a love nugget for you. Years ago, Goldie Hawn had 2 short failed marriages, and Kurt Russell had 1 short failed marriage. But today, Goldie Hawn, 77, Kurt Russell, 72, are celebrating 40 years together. Never got married. I say they've always been faithful to each other. They have one child together. Amazing story. Good for them.
That kid they have together is a hell of an actor, too, Wyatt.
He is.
He's
yeah.
great in everything I've ever seen him in.
Congratulations to 83-year-old Al Pacino and his 29-year-old girlfriend. They did have their baby boy. Comment?
Sorry?
And no comment.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you were saying his name. They named the kid Comet.
That's what I thought you said. Comet.
no comment.
Comet. Can you imagine Comet Pacino? That kid's going to get an acting gig.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, movie review Friday, both at the Marcus, The Flash with Urza Miller, Michael Keaton, Sasha Kalia, and Michael Shannon as General Zod. This is a great movie with a lot of heart, a lot of dry humor. It's fresh, it's different with some Tim Burton love. Michael Keaton back as Batman. I love the flashbacks, including Jeremy Irons back as Albert the butler. The effects are 4 stars and lots of laughs when you least expect it. Saving babies and crazy dogs and huge surprises and everything always moving and a lot of humor. And I love the great theme song from my old buddy Danny Elfman from the old Boingo Boingo days. Mm-hmm. Rated PG-13, 144 minutes. Steve, 3.5 out of 4 stars.
Wow, fair enough.
Yeah. Another movie is Elemental. It's a kids' movie from Pixar and Disney. It's rated PG. Take the kids. It's a good kids' movie. 3 stars for that. So 2 good movies to check out at Marcus Theater. Mm-hmm. Music note. So in case you missed it, 17 publishing companies who hold the rights to songs from some people like Drake and Taylor Swift and Adele and others are suing Twitter for $250 million for infringement rights and damages. I think this thing could get bigger and ugly, so we'll kind of keep an eye on that.
Okay.
Hey, let me ask you something, personal question here.
All right.
Are you a good tipper?
Oh, yeah.
Big tipper? Good tipper?
I'm a good tip. Well, if it's I don't tip unnecessarily. I don't tip. I don't look at someone and go, I'll still tip you when your service sucked. But I think I tip appropriately based on the service.
Good.
Yeah.
I bring that up because a whole lot of celebrities are actually really pretty good tippers. And today I'm going to give you number 10 through number 6, the best celebrity tippers. And then on Monday I'm going to give you the top 5 tippers in Hollywood and the 5 worst tippers in Hollywood.
Wow.
Yeah. But today, starting with number 10, Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, bless him.
Who always leaves 50% or a $100 bill, which is ever greater.
Isn't that nice?
Nice. Coming in number 9, former President Barack Obama.
Okay.
Who always carries cash just for tips. It's the only reason he carries cash is for tips.
I like to tip in cash as well. Having been on that side, the other side of the equation, boy, cash is king when it comes to the tips.
Boy, that's true. I had 3 daughters who went through college, and they were all waitresses at one time. I agree. Number 8, Bill Murray, who carries a separate credit card just to tip.
Oh, okay. That's
Bill Murray.
odd.
Drew Barrymore always tips 100%, doubles whatever her bill is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
And number 5, sort of a strange one, Russell Crowe, who not only leaves big cash tips, he often offers to sing a happy birthday selfie on the waitress's cell phone so she could have it for good.
Wasn't that nice? I
Yeah.
guess that beats saying things like, I will have my vengeance. You know?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's pretty cool, though. Yeah.
That's really good. I'm still just blown away that you asked me if I tipped and then talked about celebrities. I feel like a big shot now, Mike. Thanks.
You are a big shot, homie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, me and Russell Crowe. All right.
Yeah. I don't know. Have you ever done selfies with a waitress?
I never have.
I've never done that.
Not that any comes to mind. I think I would remember that.
When I usually go into restaurants, they want to make sure if I have enough money to pay my bill, but that's another story completely.
But I'll tell you this much, Mike. If anybody...
It's Aloha Friday, no work on Monday. We're going to play today, Aloha Friday. Have a great Father's Day, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Talk to you on Monday. Lili Okalani, Lani on the okay, Laku, and a cock and a ark, and ho. Aloha.
There it is. The
Yeah.
Mike Evans Hollywood Report.
What were you saying?
I don't even
It's
remember.
Aloha Friday.
I don't even know what. Oh, I
what's
was
he
going to
Something
say.
about tipping and selfies.
I think I was going to say if a waitress ever asked me for a selfie, the only people that recognize me, they're not like just rock fans. They're like the people that have come up to me. They really like my former band, the Black Crowes. They really like them. And honestly, when you recognize the drummer, it's a little scary. Sometimes they're just like, wow, you really listened to those live tapes a lot, didn't you?
Oh, that same situation gets awkward for me. But it's because I'm asking the server for a selfie. They just never understand that. In lieu of a tip.
The way you brought those wings, I don't know, man.
Oh.
Can I get a selfie?
Do you mind?
That'd be awesome.
Have a seat.
We talked a minute ago, at the start of the show, we were talking about crazy bosses, bad bosses, worst boss stories ever. Facebook comments, Candace, have we got anything worth sharing yet?
Yeah, so Sarah talks about her boss that he stole from their store and he had someone rob them. He had his friends go to the safe on a Sunday, which had all the sales from the weekend, and he took everything but $1.
Well, but he could have been a good boss.
I mean, I
And
don't
he
know.
wasn't good for the company, but, maybe it sounds like you could get away with anything on that job.
That's messed up, but I'm kind of with Andrew's boss, even though it's kind of messed up. I don't know. I think it's awesome. His boss, he gave him some weed
Okay.
for watching the Little Caesars alone while he picked up concert tickets he won on the radio.
Oh, he watched.
Is this a
the
story
Little
from
Caesars.
1974?
I guess.
Wow, that's great.
I don't know what's happening there.
Yeah, hey, man.
Watch the Pizza Man.
Watch
Don't
the-
let anyone take it.
Watch the ovens. I'm going to score some Sabbath tickets. Here's a joint, dude. Right on. And remember, it's Mr. Gorman. That's fantastic.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, June the 16th. Night Ranger, Sister Christian. I just was talking with Candace, who's never seen the film Boogie Nights.
Oh, gosh, you have to.
Remember, I said to Candace, I go, there's never been a more jarring scene in a film set to music than the scene in Boogie Nights when Sister Christian is playing. I mean, there's a bunch of great ones. That's on the top. That's on a Mount Rushmore right there.
Walking around lighting up firecrackers
Oh,
in the
don't
living
spoil
room.
it.
And then a big
Spoiler.
chinchilla comes out of the closet.
We just said she's never seen it.
She never will. That's
What
one of those.
do you mean? I watch old movies all the time.
The statute of limitations on spoiling is 30 years, Tony. You should know that.
Stick around for the very end.
I will
The
say
visual.
this much. And then we can move on. Seeing Boogie Nights in the theater upon its release there's a handful of movie experiences that I do remember where it ended and everyone in the theater just looked at each other like everybody walked out going, I cannot believe what I just watched. It was just, the funniest, most raucous, and then most terrorizing. I mean, that movie has everything.
My first dating match profile, my name was Dirk Diggler.
Is that
Oh,
true?
gosh.
Yeah, I went with Dirk Diggler because I thought the woman that responds to this
Yeah,
is the woman
yeah.
I want to hang out with.
Boy, you
I was
sure
wrong.
do.
I was
Yeah.
wrong about that part, but
Well, that's very true too. And the woman who wants to hang out with Dirk Diggler is going to have some
yeah,
expectations,
right? It was a big letdown for everyone, I think.
or a little letdown, as the case may be.
Yeah.
That's tough right there. So anyway, there's your unsolicited movie recommendation. If you've never seen Boogie Nights, or if it's been too long since you've seen seen Boogie Nights. Man, is that movie a ride. We started the show today talking about the fact that we've all had bosses, a questionable boss, or even if not questionable bosses that have done questionable things, terrible things, bizarre things. I can't imagine anything topping this one. The story is in Northern California. There's a string of restaurants called the Taqueria Garibaldi's, and they're run by a guy named Che Garibaldi. And Che Garibaldi has an awful lot of employees who are practicing Catholics, and he thought, well, I'll bring in a priest, and then they can hang out during the workday. And if anybody needs to get anything off their chest, you want to just talk to a priest, actually make a confession, if you will, then they can do that on my dime, on work hours, during they can punch the clock and get some priest activities in. That's the kind of boss I am. It wasn't an actual priest. It was a setup. It was a guy essentially eliciting confessions that he would then rat out to the boss. Like, have you ever stolen anything from the restaurant? Have you ever cheated on your time cards? And then the best is, do you have any ill intent towards the boss? And this guy literally did this, and 35 employees finally got their heads together and went, hey, wait a minute, this is weird. And the Department of Justice came in, and they just fined the guy like $75,000. Then he had to give $70,000 in back pay to employees that he had fired or suspended for their grievances that this fake priest elicited in fake confessions. It's incredible. This is a story from the 1950s. Oh, no, it's not. It's 2023 when people all talk.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is anybody else picturing Father Guido Sarducci?
Sarducci.
Sarducci. That's it. All right, that's who I'm picturing in there. I like the fact I did something wrong. Yeah. What about you been taking any work office supplies home with you?
It's incredible.
I didn't know. Do priests solicit? I've never confessed my sins.
Oh, sure.
But do priests, do they solicit? What about this? Have you tried this?
I never had that experience.
Yourself?
I never had that specific. They weren't prompting. It was just, they certainly let you go, and then, well, you know how it is in any situation. If only one person's talking, that person tends to keep talking because you're like, well, I can't sit here in silence. I have to continue the conversation. I haven't been to confession in many years. I went as a kid kind of regularly, as was the fashion of the time. And it was never, what are you confessing at 12? I mean, I didn't have any great sins, really. It was just like I cussed at school, and I had an impure thought, and I didn't even know what that meant, but I knew it was something you could say. I never did a confession as an adult, so I can't say that I understand the experience too well. But I do know that I do remember Guido Sarducci on the original SNL. If anyone doesn't remember the Saturday Night Live from the 70s, the priest character. I remember watching with my family. They did the skit was called "The Man Who Loves Swimming." Do you remember this? And it was Guido Sarducci in full robes, and he would sit by the pool. And every time he'd see a beautiful woman, he'd go, "I got to take a dip in the pool," and he had to jump in the pool to cool off, figuratively and literally. And I was like, "What's the deal? Why is he always hopping in the pool?" I didn't understand what was happening. Yeah, I think anybody else hot, I got to take a dip in the pool. I was like, man, that was good stuff.
Always smoking a cigarette.
Comedian Don Novello. That's who was Guido Sarducci.
Right. That's right, Don Novello.
Funny.
I worked at a pizza place in Atlanta for years, and the guy that started it was called Fellini's Pizza, and my buddy Clay, we're still good friends. Clay, he started this place when he was like 22 years old. But he and his partner, they worked at a different pizza place, and they had the idea, we should do like a New York style by the slice pizza. That didn't exist in Atlanta back in the day, in the early 80s. So they had a plan to start their own pizza place. And for a year, they were working at another big Italian restaurant. And every day at the end of the shift, they would steal one item. Their thing was, well, no one will notice if I take one jar of olives, one jar of tomato paste, one 50-pound bag of flour. They were stocking up for like a year, unknown, nobody missed it. And then when they finally got like the place and started, they had a ton of stuff they could, anything that was non-perishable, of course. It wasn't like cheese, but anything else. I always thought that's the way to go. But they didn't get busted. So, good for them.
Yeah, a lot of bombastic bosses on the KQ Facebook page. Tom said, threatening employees to snap them in half, eat them like a snack, and take them outside. Well, wait, which is it?
Wait, what?
Had a boss that would threaten employees to snap them in half, eat them like a snack, and take them outside. Can you imagine your boss saying that to you?
You know what? That just reminded me. We had a math teacher when I was in middle school who was from Brooklyn, Mr. O'Boyle, Jim O'Boyle, and he looked at my brother Doug one day during lunch. He goes, "Gorman, I'll smash your head in the cement."
Back then, you could do it and get away with it as a teacher.
And he said that once, and for the rest of his tenure, it was like, "Are you going to smash his head in the cement?" That's all we said. When we mentioned him, he was the guy who was going to smash a student's head in the cement.
Smash the head.
Oh, man.
Like bringing a little bit of welcome back Cotter to rural Kentucky.
Yeah. Like Scott said, I had a boss that stated the reason he got into management was because he couldn't stand people. Good. Let's put him in charge of people. You're going to make a good boss. I had a boss one time at a radio station. Said, "Hey, we got this great idea. We want you to change your name. My name is Brian Zepp. It's my real name." And he said, "We want you to change your name to Zeppelin. Legally change it. We're going to actually bring someone in from the court into the radio station. We're going to legally change your name on the air to Zeppelin." I said, "Yeah, why are we going to do that?" He said, "Well, because, your name's Zepp, but we're going to change it to Zeppelin. You work on a classic rock station." I said, "Yeah, but what's the entertainment value? What's the payoff? Why would a listener want to hear that?" He goes, "Well, because we're changing it to Zeppelin. You get it? Because we work for." I said, "Yeah, but why would anyone want to listen to that? And what's the payoff?" And he goes, "Well, because it's Zeppelin." I said, "All right, so for no payoff, I'm going to have to change my Social Security number. I'm not going to have the same name as my my children.
Right.
I'm going to have to basically change everything about my life and become a silly punchline."
Yeah, but dude, your name would be Zeppelin.
Yeah,
I think you should do it.
Yeah, don't you get it? Because you worked at a classic rock station.
You just don't get it.
I was thinking about changing my name to Stevie Sabbath.
I'll do this. Next time I work at a classic rock station, I'll do it, I promise.
I'm going to be Tommy Lee.
There you go. You can be Tommy Lee. I'll be Stevie Sabbath. You'll be Brian Zeppelin. And Candace will be Candace Wheeler on Fire. No, Wheels on...
Hot Wheeler.
Steelers Wheel.
Yeah. Oh, and Tony, be careful with that Tommy Lee. That might come with a Dirk Diggler expectation as well.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Can we can't talk about that on air
Why not?
in the way I would like to.
I talk about it all the time.
We need you talk about Tommy Lee's Dirk Diggler?
Yeah.
Wow. By the way, okay, not necessarily a boss really, but the guy that signed my band to our first record deal, the guy who cut the checks, so you could say he was the boss. He had a suggestion. My band in the late 80s was called Mr. Crow's Garden, and he asked us to change our name.
Oh, wow.
To the Cobb County Crows, because the two brothers Robinson grew up in Cobb County, which is a suburb of Atlanta. And he said, "Why don't you call it the Cobb County Crows?" And then he dropped this one, but spell it with K's. The KKK.
Oh, no.
And by the way, dead serious.
Those T-shirts
Dead
sell
serious.
themselves down in the South.
1989, at a bar in Atlanta, Georgia, the man looked at us and said, "What about, think of the attention you'll get."
Well.
And his response, and we laughed because, of course, this was a joke. And he goes, "No, really, think about it." And we suggested, well, if we're going to think about anything, we'll think about kicking your ass in the parking lot. Right. Dead serious. We threatened the man who had just signed the man who just paid for us to make an album. We literally threatened to beat him up in the parking lot.
I think that's fair on those conditions. Maybe you could get one of those Spinal Tap props. You could burn a cross on stage.
That
would be fun.
It was kind of, he said, "No, come on, man, you guys are Southern." We're like, "Oh my God."
Wow.
Fascinating. And then it turned out, and he was a wrestling fan. He just thought, why not? I mean, we'll get it. We're just like, no, listen, this is kind of important to us. It's kind of like the thing we love more than anything. So maybe not turn it into a reality show like this, like just some fart on a disc for people to enjoy.
We'd still be talking about that band. Remember that band in the early 90s? They released that one album with the...
Hard to play in a hood.
County Crows with the K. What were they thinking? Man, the album wasn't bad, but just couldn't get past the name. Chelsea says that she had a boss that wouldn't let her have the lights on during the day because it wasted electricity. You just got the window. Huh?
Oh, come on.
A little natural sunlight.
The Tennessee Titans football team used to be the Houston Oilers football team, and their owner, legendary weird owner Bud Adams, for years. He was an oil guy from Texas. And the stories about him are legendary, just the weird malfeasance in his own personal life. He was a freak. But he used to go to the Titans headquarters, and he would walk in, and he would go to the storage closet closets and check to see like how many paper towels they had stocked up, how many light bulbs were in reserve. This was a billionaire who would that's the stuff he was asking questions about when he'd go to the facility.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, these light bulbs, there's cheaper versions, and he was like, why are you buying Bounty? You need to get generic brand paper towels for the office. He was
why he's a billionaire.
That's exactly why he's a billionaire.
Well, there's a new Amazon Prime documentary just called Reggie Jackson. I watched it yesterday, and I didn't know a lot about Reggie. I just started hating him when he played for the Yankees, because he was a Yankee and hitting home runs and winning World Series. I didn't know much about his Oakland A's 3 World Series before that. I was just too young, but he played for one of those billionaires, too, that, would... made them bring their own toilet paper to the clubhouse and stuff like that. They were just so damn cheap.
It's insane.
He wanted a raise from $20,000. They signed him in 68, 69, $20,000 a year. He wanted just a short raise after he won the batting title. He's like, we can't afford it. We can't afford it.
If you become a billionaire by pinching every penny and then you are a billionaire and you continue to pinch pennies, you missed a couple of road signs along the way.
Yeah,
you missed a few.
Right. All right, we got to get moving here. We have a game show to get to, honoring Dad's Day and embarrassing our dads, I think, in the process. Ken Jennings is on this morning. The Ken Jennings.
Ken Jennings.
Man, can we stump him? We'll keep him on the air until one of us can stump him with a trivia question.
I'll ask him what my middle name is.
I don't know your middle name.
See?
So much to find out
No
about
one
you.
knows my middle name.
Does he have a middle name?
Percy.
What? Dude.
Yeah, Zepp has a weird middle name.
That's Earl. I don't know. It's that weird. I mean, it's not, nothing stunning. Earl the Pearl. If you want to take it from that one, but
I go right to number 4, Earl Reaver, first in my heart ever, the greatest manager that ever. Well, anyway,
I've been known to blow up like Earl Weaver from time to time.
Really?
I remember trying to get out of my senior year of high school. I honestly just tried to get out of my entire senior year of high school. I thought I could trick my way out of it. I don't understand these adults trying to get back into high school, but we have another one of those stories coming here at 7:30. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, June the 16th, and if you're like me, you spend a lot of time thinking about sneaking yourself back into high school. Wait, no, I don't think about that at all. But boy, some people sure do.
No kidding.
There's always at least once a year, there's a story of so-and-so got busted as a high school student, but they're actually an adult. Now, the normal reasons make perfect sense. Guy wants to go back and dominate on the football field. So a 24-year-old man's playing high school football or something like that. As a joke, it's like a movie plot. You always hear like, yeah, I'll go back. And now that I know how to get the ladies, I want to go back to high school and get a redo, blah, blah, blah. But this actually happens in real life for a variety of reasons. And this week's story is a 28-year-old woman from Louisiana who enrolled in high school as a 17-year-old and spent the entire school year there. She did a whole year in high school. She did not participate in any extracurricular activities. There were no disciplinary issues. She got busted right after the school year. She's been arrested. The sheriff said she was in school. She minded her own business. She did her schoolwork. She caused no trouble. Here's what happened. A 46-year-old woman used a fake passport and birth certificate to register her daughter, who's 28, as a student at a high school in Louisiana. So the mom and the daughter now are getting popped for, let's see, what's the crime? Injuring public records is what that's called.
Come on.
But here's the story. The mom was, I guess her visa was, or the daughter's visa, they're not resident. They're not citizens of the United States. The mom wanted to get her daughter into school because her daughter needed to learn better English and wanted to be, more prepared for life in America, having just gotten here. And by God, she did. She spent a whole year in school, posing as a 17-year-old, got her English together, made good grades. By all accounts, was a model student, but of course, is a 28-year-old adult.
I mean, there's other ways to go around that. Don't they have like free community classes where you can go learn, English or another language?
I don't know what's going on in Boot or Bout, Louisiana. Right. I don't know how you even pronounce that, but yeah, that's a tough one. Let's see. So yeah, Marta, the mom, had been in the States for several years, but has an expired visa. Her daughter arrived in 2021, got here, needed to learn English. They came up with a plan. They cooked it up to perfection. I'm not sure how they got busted, but the fact is they did get busted. busted. But, it could be a lot worse. Like, I'm always thinking, like I said, you went back there so you could play football and you get a scholarship and there was nothing really truly nefarious about the intent. It was more like, well, I don't know, my daughter wants to make it in this country. Maybe if she had a year of school, it would work.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's noble. I mean, didn't do anything like go to prom.
No, I guess not.
Well, somebody asked you out for prom.
Well, that'd be a strange one.
Yeah, that would be odd. But, just getting in there and sliding in for a little free education. I mean, give her a slap on the wrist.
Sometimes things are just not what you expect them to be. And to which, speaking of things not being what you would expect, there's a story also from California. Check this out. A guy named Derek DeAnda is driving along. He's minding his own business. He's on the highway going from point A to B. To and fro, doing his whatever it is he does. He sees a van swerve off the road and roll over. He watches this happen, and he thinks, oh, my gosh, let me see if I can help. Pulls over, runs out. There's a guy in a van and 3 kids, and they're all trapped inside. What does Derek do? Breaks a window, pulls this entire family to safety, all before the paramedics and the police show up.
Frickin' hero.
Frickin' hero. One little rub in the plan, when he broke the window on the van, he did cut his hand.
Oh, wow.
So when the paramedics arrived, they took a quick look at it and sent him a bill for $143.
No. Come on.
What?
The city he got a $143 bill from the city of Elk Grove, California, for the paramedic checking out the cut on his hand.
Okay.
First of all, I didn't know they did that. I didn't know you just got billed from the city if they had to come out and there was a...
Apparently that's how they roll in Elk Grove.
I mean, yeah, wouldn't you think I get it, it's a bureaucracy, but are there human beings working there, somebody along the line like, he did pull a bunch of people to safety, maybe we'll can we go ahead and draw a line through this 143?
I'm quite certain that now that the story's out, somebody will squash the bill, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And if not, at least I would imagine the guy in the van with the 3 kids goes, yeah, I got $143, bud, thanks.
Right.
But the quote from Derek, however, I do have to comment. He did say, I mean, why would I want to stop to help somebody if I'm going to get stuck with a bill?
Well, I mean, personally, Derek, I think once you get past the shock, just the outrage of being billed for saving people's lives, or somebody looking at the cut on your hand, you'll understand that probably saving lives, $143, it's good for the soul.
Yeah, you had me until the quote, Derek.
Yeah.
Some savvy windshield repair company should pop in there and give him an endorsement opportunity.
There you go. That's
He
exactly
smashes
right.
the glass, and we take care of it within 24 hours.
And then he'll want to save people all the time.
No
Wait, I
kidding.
can make money saving people?
Wow, go
I love
figure.
it. Yeah.
I've driven by automobile. I've never jumped out and helped somebody on the side of the road. I've never been the first guy on the scene, is my point. I think I would. I was thinking about this, just picturing myself driving anywhere. If I saw a van go off the road and like if I saw it happen, I'm right there. I don't know how I could drive. You'd have to get out and see it, right? I mean, that would be almost impossible. But yet, people do that all the time. I've driven by cars that are on fire, so it's obviously too late to do anything. And it's just astonishing how hot they are. But every time I drive by, I think, like when that car first crashed, whatever leads to a car actually blowing up and being completely consumed with flames, apparently it's not as easy as they make you believe on the Dukes of Hazzard.
Right.
But it does happen on occasion, and I always wonder, like, what were the few minutes between crash and fire like? What was happening? Did people pull over and stop? Did people try to help? I hope to never have to know, but I'd like to think I'd get out and help somebody if I saw their car roll over.
Well, I'd like to think so. You do the right thing. Everyone will at least slow down and gawk to create some traffic, however.
Yeah.
But, the folks that actually pull over and get involved, I like to think most people probably would, but,
Here's some information. I don't know if this is good news or bad news, or if there's even a reason to assign a negative or positive charge to this particular atom. Gen Z. The kids of Gen Z, they don't drink very much compared to previous generations. It's not even close. They're a non-drinking generation, generally speaking.
Oh, yeah. Pot's
Generationally speaking. Yeah, exactly. However, the fact that Gen Z is not holding up their end of the bargain isn't a concern to the companies who are, providing us with our various forms of hooch. A study has found that Americans are now drinking at a rate not seen since the Civil War.
That long?
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like a time that everyone would want to be guzzling a lot of booze, the Civil War.
Kind of a heady, difficult time for
Yeah.
American society. You want to take the edge off that recently amputated leg with a jar of hooch,
Right.
I would imagine. In 2021, the average American is believed to have consumed 2.5 gallons of ethanol. That's the version found in beer, wine, and spirits. That matches a level last seen in 1860.
Wow, I'm impressed, Americans.
You can probably look at what was going on in the world in 2020 and 2021.
Yeah.
It wasn't a civil war, but we were all sitting inside staring at each other because of a pandemic. That may have something to do with the fact.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm surprised to hear that. I just always assume every generation is a little less crazy than the one before it, but that's not the case, obviously. Well, actually, no, that is the case. We're just making up for the fact that the youngsters of today have learned from our mistakes, and so we're doubling down.
Oh, see, once again, we got to pick up the slack for this younger generation that won't drink their share of the booze. I guess we'll have to do it.
Way to go, Candace.
Yeah.
Bad. Hey,
Oh,
I'm
wait,
a millennial.
Yeah, you're not a Gen Z. You're a millennial.
My
You're
brother is a Gen Z, though, and he does not drink, really.
Yeah.
At all.
Make
Go
them.
figure.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
force it. But I was a bad kid. I drank a lot. Like in high school. Oh, I guess I shouldn't. Whatever,
all
it's
right.
fine.
It's
But,
the
it
statute
it was just
limitations.
something to do. You know, I don't know. We didn't have much to do, and I feel like I got my hard partying days out really early in life.
There wasn't much to do. Let's
Yeah.
empty a bottle.
Yeah. God, it's Richfield. Give me a bottle.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
There wasn't much to do. You're in one of the top 20 metro markets in America. You want to talk about where Zepp grew up, where I grew up? What are you talking about?
Yeah, no kidding.
Richfield's its own beast. All right.
If I were my high school years, if I'd been in a town with 50,000 people, I would have thought I was like I'm in the big city. Come on.
A major metropolitan, right? Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Just
But
saying, I was a bad kid compared to my brother, who is a really good kid.
now, were you pounding Red Bulls and stuff, though? Were you like, was energy drinks, that's
Yeah.
all the rage when
Monster
you came of
was
age?
like a
Monster?
thing, yeah.
Well, there's good news for that then. Okay, so you were pounding the alcohol and the energy drinks. Well, good for you, Candace, because new research suggests energy drinks could prolong your life.
Awesome.
Monster and Red Bull, Celsius, they have a chemical called taurine. It's added to energy drinks. It's been found to slow the aging process in mice, worms, monkeys, and Candace Wheeler.
Wow. It's like it's embalming you from the inside.
That's exactly what it's doing. The lab animals also gained strength, endurance, and a stronger immune system. Now, if you want to get these kind of benefits, they say you got to put about 6 or 7 Red Bulls a day down your gut. That might offer its own set of side effects. But if you can put 6, 7 Red Bulls down a day, then by God, you're going to live a lot more of those days, and
Yeah.
you're going to make everyone in your life that much more miserable because you're going to be high as a kite.
Yeah, don't forget to mix it with the alcohol. You've got to get your 2.5 gallons of ethanol in that you maybe need to be packing away.
So the key
Gen Z.
to a successful long life
Yeah.
is energy drinks and white hooch.
Oh man, the Red Bull and vodka show. When they started doing that, it was like, okay, you should be passed out now and not be a problem for anyone.
Yeah.
But the Red Bull's keeping you up, so it's it just kept the a-holes, the drunk a-holes up longer. They should have been passed out, but we were.
I always thought they should have called that the Belushi. Give me a Belushi.
Oh, funny.
Going up, I'm going down at the same time.
I'm starting my evening on the boat with a Belushi. They're just going to give me that look.
Why not?
Yeah, I'm doing it. I want a Belushi. Right now on the Maple Grove Lock and Safe Talk and Text line, we want 2 callers, 9and 2-651-989. Rock, we're playing Who's Your Daddy to win tickets to the Marshall Tucker Band. Coming Friday, June 23rd, Canterbury Park. Prize provided by Canterbury Park. Our runner-up today, tickets to see Andy Summers of the Police. Check that out. Coming to town on Wednesday, September 6th at the Fitzgerald. Prize provided by First Avenue. Tickets go on sale today for Andy Summers at the Fitzgerald in September. 651-989-ROCK. We'll explain Who's Your Daddy when we get back here. Dial up, good luck, and hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday morning, June the 16th. Good morning. Man, What a great day it is on a Friday, huh?
There's
The
cleared up.
smoke is cleared away. Exactly.
Yeah, right, yeah. Free breathing out there. The weekend is upon us. There's fun stuff to do. A lot of fun stuff. Going to be a great weekend.
Yeah, it is going to be a great weekend. And next weekend, also going to be a great weekend. Marshall Tucker Band is playing Friday, June 23rd at Canterbury Park. Marshall Tucker Band.
Love me the Marshall Tucker Band, man.
Can't you see yourself at a Marshall Tucker show?
I can
See what I did
That
there,
was kind of clever.
Right.
See what I did there? Come
start-
on. Marshall Tucker Band from Spartanburg, South
I
Carolina.
was going to say Marshall, Minnesota. Damn it.
Close. Spartanburg, South Carolina, home of the Beacon. That's a good burger if you're ever in town.
All right.
Get yourself a Beacon burger.
Sounds good.
So anyway, because Marshall Tucker Band is playing Friday, June 23rd at Canterbury Park, we thought we'd give away a couple of tickets to see that bad boy. Not only did we think we'd give away a couple of tickets, we thought we'd also give away a couple of tickets to see Andy Summers, guitarist of note. His band, The Police, had a pretty good run back in the day. Andy Summers is, I just said this yesterday, arguably the most underrated guitarist in rock history.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, think of The Police and think about what he brings to that band with so much space and with minimalist perfection. Andy Summers, one of my favorite guitarists. He's playing Wednesday, September 6th at the Fitzgerald Theater, and we are going to give away tickets to both with a little game, a contest, if you will. We've got callers on deck, ready to rock. Tony, what is the game of the day?
Well, we love daddy-os, so let's try this.
You answer me when I ask you, who is your daddy?
You tell me, who is your daddy?
Who is your daddy?
Who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy?
This Who's Your Daddy game is getting really
Awesome.
Who's your daddy? Yeah, we salute Pops. So what we're going
I
to
thought you were
do...
going to say we're saluting Maury Povich.
Yes, hats off to Maury. Well, what we'll do is we'll read a little brief story for each, for the four of us.
Okay.
And our contestants will guess whose dad it's about from the four of us, Candace, Zepp, Steve Gorman, or me, Antonio.
Oh, boy. Okay, so the listener will guess whose dad is being discussed and mocked mercilessly, or whatever the case may be. Perfect. Let's see what happens. It's a perfect Father's Day weekend contest. Candace, let's get to it. Who is contestant number one?
Amy from Edina.
Amy, good morning.
Good morning.
Boy, that's a cheerful good morning. I'm happy to have you on the horn. Are you ready to play Who's Your Daddy?
Absolutely.
Congratulations for getting in first. Tony, take it away.
All right, Amy from lovely Edina. Number one, my dad was a computer programmer in the early 70s. Just as the computer boom was about to hit, he quit his job. Saturday, he married a woman with kids, and on Sunday, moved 1,400 miles to be a farmer. Whose daddy is that out of the four of us?
Wow.
That would be Brian.
Wow, you nailed it.
Oh, Amy knows her Zepp history.
Yeah, that's true. We got out of that. We still bust his chops to this day. Way to get out of computers in the early 70s, Dad. Good call. And into farming for the drought years. Awesome. Good call. Thank you for that poor upbringing. I'm sure I'm a better person for it.
Oh, that's great.
All right, Amy, here's another one for you. My dad put reflective tape on my bike, not just on the pedals, which is what you do and makes sense, but over the handlebars, the seat, the whole frame. My cool new bike looked ridiculous and was destroyed. And his comment was, "You want to get hit by a truck?" Whose daddy is that?
I think that's Tony.
Wow, you are correct.
Bingo,
Oh,
bango.
Daddy was a big worrier and overdid things, and he ruined my bike.
Well, and you're here today because of all that reflective tape.
No.
How far does the apple fall from the tree, Tony?
Yeah, how the
As a
boys
man
and
with
bikes
two
like
young
that.
kids.
Yeah, and they have reflective tape on their foreheads right now.
Of course they do. Of course, on their foreheads.
All right, our next one. Here we go. If your room wasn't clean, my dad, to make a point, would completely destroy it. Throw mattresses on the floor, dresser would be empty, drawers on the floor, making, of course, a bigger mess.
Steve?
Yeah.
How about
Nice.
that?
Wow.
Amy, what do you have cameras placed in our childhood homes? This is incredible.
Oh, that's eerie.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah, that's an entirely true story. You'd get out, get up in the morning, not make the bed or leave your dirty clothes on the floor. You'd come home from school and it looked like a bomb had gone off in your bedroom.
That's how the Marines did it, by God.
That's exactly right. You want a mess? I'll give you a mess. He'd literally pull stuff out of the closet, off the hangers, and throw that on the floor.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he was fun.
I'm guessing you still aren't just. It never really stuck, did it?
Never.
I mean, are you a clean freak these days?
I'm okay. I'm not a clean freak. I'm a neat freak. There's a difference,
All right.
as my wife will point out. She goes, "You don't wash anything. You just straighten." I'm like, "Hey, I'm halfway there."
Yeah.
I don't care if the counters are sticky, but everything's put away. But I digress.
All right, we have one more for you. Could be from any one of the four of us. My dad played in a band. He played trumpet. The band was called Name Drop Soup.
Candace?
Yeah.
How about that?
That's
4
awesome.
for 4.
That's an awesome fact. I didn't know
4
that.
for 4. Amy, well
Wow.
played.
Nice.
Goodness gracious. Although I guess, to be fair, I mean, it was process of elimination for that last one, right? We hadn't had a Candace entry yet.
I tried to fool her by saying it could be anyone.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
She saw straight through that because she knows you too, Tony. Yeah, that Tony, he's a jiver.
I've listened a long time.
That is apparent. Well done. Not just well done today, well done for a long time.
Yeah.
Right on.
Tell us something weird about your dad quickly, Amy.
What do you got?
Well, I don't know if it's weird, but I did not put in for my best dad. But my dad really is the best. And, when he retired, he was kind of bored. And my mom would be like, could you give him some jobs? Because all he does is spend money. And so I would come home and things from work, and things around my house would be just fixed. He would come during the day, fix things, paint a wall, and I'd be like, oh, this is pretty sweet. He became my errand boy, and it was really great
Yeah,
for a long time.
That sounds great. You should have nominated him next year.
I could have.
Way to go, Amy's dad. That's awesome. All right, Amy, well played, of course. Hang tight. We're going to put caller number 2 on. We'll see how they do. And Candace, who is caller number 2?
Randy from Winona.
Randy, good morning.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Happy applies?
I could not hear one word your other contestant said, so I kind of figured out what the answers were, but
She was
I
talking
didn't hear anything she said.
Well, it's none of your
crap
business.
about you, yeah.
Yeah, she was like, that Randy is bad news. Okay, but you understand the game. Tony's gonna give you a statement, and you will tell us whose dad it refers to. Good luck to you, sir.
I'll do my best.
All right, Randy. First off, after my sis and I got in trouble and got chewed out and yelled at by Mom, we were sent to bed early. As we laid there in tears, my dad came into our rooms, said everything would be okay, and snuck ice cream bars in and let us have them in bed.
I'm going to say Tony.
That's unbelievable. That was my pops. There's still like chocolate stains on the blanket.
That's awesome. And that only encouraged you to be bad more often.
And by the way, I didn't know that was Tony, but of course I knew that was Tony. When you think about all of us here in the room, you're like, of course that was Tony's dad. He's a softie. Tony's a softie. It's beautiful.
When I cry, I have ice cream in bed now.
Oh, that's great.
That explains his ice cream fetish.
Wow.
That's exactly right.
You are right.
While in bed.
That's right.
All right, Rand number 2. My dad loves lima beans. It's his favorite food. Not ice cream, not pizza, not even a perfectly cooked steak. The grossest of all vegetables, he loves lima beans.
I'm going to guess Steve.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Yeah, that's my pa right there. He loves the lima beans. I'm still convinced to this day because I hated them so bad. Try and eat a lima bean once. Don't ever do that.
Well,
it's
they're
like,
horrible.
Yeah, they're horrible. Thank you, Randy, brother from another mother. But yeah, you're down one now.
There's something wrong with that.
I'm trying to think if I've ever had a lima bean. I might not have. My mom didn't care for them, so we didn't eat them.
They use them to make Elmer's glue.
But yet it's his favorite food.
Favorite food. Loves the lima bean. Weirdo.
Got to stay on your toes. Got to stay sharp. Sometimes I swallow crushed glass just to maintain the edge. All right, Randy, you're 1 for 2. We're going to keep on going, though.
Number 3, Randy. My grandparents were missionaries. My dad was born in Japan and liked to wear kimonos around the house.
Candace.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that?
I just wanted to hear that come out of Steve's mouth once. And, my dad loves to wear kimonos around the house.
They look good.
Now I'm picturing my dad in a kimono, and it's the whole day's taking a really weird turn.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
All right, last one. Father's Day, 1982. We all got together. The very next day, I saw him with suitcases. He said he was going on a business trip. He waved and said, "Take care of your mama," and left for good.
Steve.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, wow.
There it is.
So you say your dad likes to wear kimonos, Candace. Wow.
Suitcases stuffed with kimonos.
Father's Day. Just goodbye, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya kind of deal, huh?
Yeah, he waited until the day after. It was fine.
All right. Stuck around for the praise and the presents, and then...
It was pretty much it. Yeah. Who knows what he was cooking up. It wasn't as dark a day as you might think. In fact, as he pulled away, I remember thinking, whew.
Yeah.
Relieved.
Yeah. I'm just going to kick back and watch SportsCenter. Everything's going to be okay now.
Freedom!
That was it, man. No question about it. Randy, you went 3 for 4, which is 9 days out of 10 enough to pull out a win. But unfortunately, you had to go up against Amy, the master of the KQ Morning Show. Amy knows more about us than we know about ourselves.
She must have some psychic ability or something. I don't know how anyone could possibly know 4 for 4 on that stuff.
That's what it is. Well, Amy, congratulations. You have got tickets to see Marshall Tucker next Friday at Canterbury Park. Randy, you're going to see Andy Summers of the Police in September at the Fitzgerald Theater. Thanks to both of you for calling and playing.
Hey, have a great weekend, everybody. Sounds like you guys got a fun weekend planned.
We sure do. Mm-hmm. You're welcome to join us at either event. There's still a few tickets out there. But anyway, again, thanks, guys. That was great.
Yeah.
Right on.
Tony, I got to tell you, man, the intros to these games, like the one today, I didn't know that many people on the planet had ever said the words "Who's your daddy?"
I think
in front of a microphone.
Yeah, they've said it once or twice. Anytime anyone has an opportunity.
As the father of a student at Indiana University, which I am, I can't hear "Who's your daddy?" without "Hoosier." That's what they see. All the "Who's your daddy?" That's like a thing down there.
That's you now. You're a Hoosier daddy.
That's what they tell me.
All right.
I'm more partial to the James Madison. That's where my daughter goes.
Yeah.
And I'm way more into James Madison just because I didn't grow up watching their sociopathic basketball coach throw chairs at referees. You know what I mean? It's like I go to Indiana University. It's a beautiful school. My son's happy there. It's nice. And all I think is, but Bobby Knight was completely insane.
He was completely insane. But you know what that program is now? Completely boring. Sorry.
That's very true.
He was a train wreck you wanted to watch.
These are different days, to be sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know if he'd get as many players to play for him. Top echelon players. Those kind of coaches don't exist anymore.
Gosh, not a chance.
Yeah.
Absolutely not a chance. And, the football coaches these days, you look at a guy like Nick Saban, who's going to retire one day and be called the greatest college football coach of all time, or certainly in the short list. He's got a hard exterior. He seems like a gruff, and people think he's an old school guy. That couldn't be farther from the truth. He's absolutely fully, his whole life is spent going in and sitting in living rooms and convincing players to play for him. And he's telling them, it's not about, the Crimson Tide's going to teach you to be a man. He's like, you want to play in the NFL? Let's go. It's like he's a complete man of his time. He just has the gruff exterior. But, a guy like Bobby Knight, a coach like that, he ain't getting hired past Division III anymore.
Yeah, no, because it wasn't just the X's and the O's on the court. He was just bombastic. It turned into his ego.
Yeah.
He was Bobby Knight.
Oh, he was nuts.
And Saban, you hear from those Alabama players, and they speak so highly of him because he got him to the NFL. But even more so, like you said, the parents, Alabama football player parents love Saban because, he took their kid, away from home, and he gave them structure and family and a big payday.
I remember watching
National championship.
I remember Bobby Knight standing at Assembly Hall doing some event, and he was answering questions for some reason. It was just I don't know if they'd won it was maybe they won a big whatever it was. I just can so clearly remember Bobby Knight standing in front of a gymnasium full of college kids, and someone asked him, "Do you think they should drug test the players?" And he said, "If it's up to me, I'd drug test every one of you."
Everyone.
To an arena of 14,000 people.
You can't.
I was like, hey, Pinochet, back it down a bit, okay? This is not 1979 Chile.
I love it. We got a
Bloomington,
dictator.
Indiana.
Outstanding. Well, there are a lot of great reasons to have Ken Jennings on, the great Jeopardy champion and host and all those good things. I can think of a million reasons to talk to him, but I love that he's just come out with a book promoting 100 places to see after you die, a travel guide to the afterlife from Ken Jennings. Can't wait to talk to him about it here at 8:30. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, June the 16th. Whew, baby, the weekend is upon us. It is Father's Day weekend. And in fact, KQ's Father of the Year 2023, well, our 5 finalists have been selected. You can cast your vote right now at 92KQRS.com. KQ's Father of the Year 2023 is going to take home some sweet swag, including a grill, a brand new grill from Fratelloni's Hardware, a grill kit, tickets to see the band Kansas July 14th at the State Theater, LPs, CDs, and other assorted KQ gear, sponsored by Oak Ridge Dental, complete contest rules, and again, a chance to vote at 92KQRS.com. In a few moments, we will be joined by Ken Jennings. And if you're going, hey, who is that guy? I know the guy. Yeah, he's the new host of Jeopardy, a man who entered everyone's life in 2004 when he rattled off, let's see, what was it, 74 straight victories on
God.
Jeopardy?
Was that it? 74?
74.
I know. It was. You would come back to Jeopardy and like, that guy's still on, and then it, of course, turned into it.
Yeah.
That was the story, and then you started tuning in just to, see if this guy was going to be on. And did anyone ever beat him, or did they have to, hey, Ken, can you step aside? Because he's come back in the champion thing many times.
He did eventually lose.
Yeah, he did.
Someone beat him $2.5 million later.
Oh, man.
That is so much cheese, a little bit at a time. I mean, 20, 30 grand ain't a little, but I mean, for a show like that, 74 straight. It's funny. I always think of, when I hear Ken Jennings, there's two things that this is a bizarre association in my head. I have The Wire, which is the greatest show of all time, in my opinion, on
Great
HBO.
show. Yeah.
When I think of The Wire, I think of Ken Jennings, and I'll tell you why. Because they both hit the airwaves, and they both hit my radar when I was involved with a toddler and a baby, and I had no time for TV, and enough people kept telling me, you have to see this. That's what I think. And right now, Ken Jennings is with us on the KQ Morning Show. Ken, good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you guys?
We are all good on this end. You are a busy guy. You have a new book out. But first, let me just say this. Is this your 13th or 14th book?
Lucky 13, I think.
Dear
but,
God.
I wrote a bunch of kids' books, so that pumps up my total. It's a bit of a cheat.
Well, but still, come on. What a flex. 13 books. My man, you're busy. Don't you? I mean, seriously, you're now the host of Jeopardy, and now a book. And of course, this is a book that answers for anybody who says there's nothing new to write about. Here comes Ken Jennings. The book is called 100 Places to See After You Die, a travel guide to the afterlife. Let's just get right to the beginning. Where in the world did the original idea come from?
Well, you see so many books about things to see before you die.
Right.
And I was in an airport once, and I realized we were leaving out a big chunk of the audience. There's more people are dead than alive. I don't know if they buy books, but I've always just been really interested in the idea of the afterlife. Why we have these visions, why we imagine another world. And it's a big mystery, right? I love a mystery, and this is the biggest one of them all.
Boy, that explains it. And so apparently you are taking people on, you're going all the way from, Field of Dreams into some Simpsons references, Hieronymus Bosch, Hellscape. I mean, you just left no stone unturned, I assume.
Yeah, everything from, ancient Egypt and the underworld all the way up through mythology and religion and Dante, all the way up to TV shows like The Good Place and South Park that spend time in the world to come, you know?
Oh, I said South Park. Yeah, you said South Park. Now I'm on board here. How smart do you have to be to read one of your books, Ken? Some college, doctorate? I mean, this book sounds fascinating. It really does. To know the history of mankind's infatuation with the afterlife is really to know a lot about the history of just mankind in general. I think we're so consumed with it.
Yeah, you can really see what a culture values when you look at their afterlife. You know, today we have a lot of afterlives that are like kind of late-stage capitalism where people have to have unpleasant jobs. You know, TV shows like Miracle Workers and Dead Like Me. You know, the afterlife, heaven and hell change as we change. And I think the book is for all my books are for any gifted amateur, just like Jeopardy, you know. Those are not all subject area experts, just curious people.
There are people out there who would hope that the afterlife is the set of Jeopardy. Make no mistake about that. You've now taken over the hosting duties. Now you've been a part of the Jeopardy story, obviously since 2004. Very close to the show. You were a guy I just mentioned before you came on. In 2004, I had a baby and a toddler in my house, and even I was aware of what you were doing. I mean, it just went through every cultural line. It was such an anecdote. People were discussing you at great length. So you've been a part of the show for almost 20 years, but now as host, what's been the biggest surprise? Is there a few things you had no idea that you couldn't know until you got that position?
I mean, just how hard it is to do. Alex was so great at that job, and he was so perfect for it. So grateful at every aspect of that job that he made it look easy. And I think a lot of people just assumed anybody can host Jeopardy. And it turns out the mechanics of the job are very hard. You know,
right.
Just keeping the numbers in your head for Final Jeopardy or reading 61 clues perfectly or you know, going as fast as the game does. I learned that Alex used to press the time's up button himself. He was just a DIY guy, you know. If he was looking around and he didn't think the contestants knew it, he would just hit the little boop, 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 boop. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You really missed that.
Oh, that's great. I didn't know that.
Oh, that is awesome. I mean, how could Trebek be cooler, and yet now he is? That's fantastic.
He was doing everything. Like, my first day of hosting, they were like, Ken, why aren't you mic'd up? And I was like, well, no sound guy came back. And they're like, oh, Alex just used to put on his own mic and come out, you know? Like,
yeah, nice.
I've been doing it for 30 years. He was a one-man operation.
That's pretty amazing. So are you gonna you know, to honor Trebek, a mustache in your future or no?
You know, I tried in college, and I still have the embarrassing driver's license photo. I would do Alex a great dishonor, actually. It would really be an insult to his memory if I were to try my mustache. I have to take one on.
Yeah. Right.
Ken Jennings is the host of Jeopardy. He's the greatest Jeopardy contestant ever and also a 13-time author. His new book, 100 Places to See After You Die, a travel guide to the afterlife. Let's talk music real quick. We are a classic rock station. Did you grow up listening to rock music?
Absolutely. And largely my parents, boomer rock. I mean, they never quite got up to, you know, Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith, you know, kind of the meat and potatoes of a classic rock station. But I grew up with a lot of British invasion music, the Hollies, the Beatles, the Stones. You know, this was the sound of my childhood, and it's still kind of my favorite music. Like, even the new bands I like, I'll be like, oh, hey, these guys sound like the Zombies. That's great.
There's no such thing as too much zombies in the world. That's a fact. What's the first concert you ever saw?
It was actually 10,000 Maniacs, like folk pop of the late 80s.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
I saw it in Seattle. So a little bit wimpier than what you play, sorry.
Oh, that's quite a no. I saw the 10,000 Maniacs open for REM. I was there for a minute. You know, they had their day in the sun.
Oh yeah.
And in Seattle, boy, what a music scene. You know that you've spent a lot of time around for sure. Ken, so this book is just now out. I mean, I don't even know how to ask you. Where do you go after a book like this? Do you have a list of ideas, like one of these days I'll get to that, or are you just waiting for the next brilliant inspiration to hit you while waiting for a flight?
You know, the great thing about me, I guess, I don't know, maybe it's a curse, is that I'm really interested in everything. I guess that's how you get on Jeopardy. And so, you know, I love going down a rabbit hole and researching something weird like comedy culture or maps or the afterlife for time, and I have a couple ideas in the back of my head. I want to write a book about the U.S. Census. It's the fact that every 10 years we have to count 300 million people. That's very funny to me. I think there's a book in there. But, you know, whatever it is, like, I will be fascinated with it, and then I just have to convince my publisher, and then I guess the book buyers that it might actually be interesting.
I know. Yeah, I know. I think we've got the beep. I know you've got to run along. Ken, can I ask you a quick question from my sister who just texted me and is listening and is a huge fan of yours? And so I know what she's getting for her birthday, which is coming up in September, 100 places to see after you die. She wants to know, do you have a photographic memory?
No. From what I understand, like, that's a very rare thing that maybe only, like, young children can do, like, see an after image of a memory. I think the people you see on Jeopardy are just very curious. When you're interested in the subject, you remember stuff about it without even trying. You know, you guys don't have to work to remember the lyrics of the song you like or the names of the roster of your favorite team. You know, stuff you like just sticks in your head. So if you can convince yourself to like everything or be interested in everything, then you remember everything, almost like magic. So that's the trick.
Thank you.
Fair enough. Ken, thanks you so much for the time today, brother. It's a pleasure to talk with you.
Thanks for having me. Have a good one.
You got it. All the best with the book. Ken Jennings. Okay, I you know, and he does have to bounce. He's doing 1 million interviews, but 74. Just think about this for a second. Yeah. Like anything you do, I mean, people come in and sit in with us on the KQ Morning Show. They're like, I listen to the show every day. People call in to do a game on the radio, but when they're actually on, when they're on their phone, a lot of them say, like, oh, my gosh, I'm nervous. You know, like, you're excited. Something you're a fan of, you get to see it up close. It's a little weird. Now, imagine going on Jeopardy where in the real time, the pressure's on. There's Alex Trebek. This is the guy I watch every day. And then you got to remember to be smart. You can't blank. And then to reel off 74 straight wins. Right. It's incomprehensible, honestly.
And remember, I mean, it was Alex Trebek in an interview that said after Ken Jennings' initial run, that said that after some time, he said, let's get some top-tier thinkers in here, contestants. You know, let's screen these folks and, you know, give him a real challenge and bounce him out of here. At some point, they thought it might be counterproductive, like it's Ken Jennings. We're all, you know, we gotta get him out of here. I don't know who beat him, but that's a T-shirt you wear, right? I beat Ken Jennings on Jeopardy.
Wonder when he finally lost if he was bitter, thinking I still had so much left in the tank,
or was he just like, I'm out? I know I got to get back to my job.
Well, you know, for years they had a thing on Jeopardy where if you won 5 in a row, that was it. You could only be on for 1 week.
Oh,
they used to cap it, and then they changed that rule, and very few people went 5 in a row. That was like a super anomaly. So when he did, I'm sure when he won his 5th, everybody's like, well, we'll see what he does next week. And then, you know, what's 74 divided by 5? That's a lot of weeks, man. That's a lot. It's 15 weeks or so. I mean, that's just on and on and on. Incredible. What just grace under pressure, man. That's amazing.
That is amazing. Well, from one genius, Ken Jennings, to another, John Leinenkugel. Think about it.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
And as this is the theater of the mind, I'd like to paint a picture for the listener. Make no mistake, John Leinenkugel is not the kind of man to enter a studio and have a seat. He is standing, arms akimbo, at the microphone like a man's man.
Yeah. Drove up this morning from Lakeville. I'm local. I live here. Love the Twin Cities.
Yeah.
I am not going to leave until the Minnesota Vikings win. Not go to a Super Bowl, but win a Super Bowl. And when that happens, I will return to Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin.
Oh, my gosh.
Home of the Jacob Leinenkugel Brewing Company, Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. 156 years old, 6 generations.
Man, that's crazy.
I wonder if it's going to be 156 years and 6 generations before the Vikings cash that chip in that you're talking about.
No, I'm feeling confident. I love their head coach, Kevin O'Connell. I love the general manager. I think the Minnesota Vikings are doing all the right things to get to the promised land.
I love that new. I love that new DC, Brian Flores. I think the defense is going to be a substantial upgrade this year. We can talk about football.
We can,
and along with a cold, tasty brew from Leinenkugel's. Any day of the year, brother. You're always welcome to come in and talk shop.
Right.
Well, this is that one day. When I say any day, I meant to say on June 16th.
Darn it. Darn it.
This is your day. Hey,
You
man,
excited me.
We're really excited about tomorrow. It's going to be a great day at the brewery.
Saturday, June 17th. 17th.
Tomorrow.
The day after the KQ karaoke cruise tonight.
Are you cruising with us tonight?
On the St. Croix River?
Are you going to sing
not.
with us? No,
I have to get over to Chippewa Falls and start prepping the stage for Bagmen.
Bagman.
4 o'clock, 4 to 6, headlining, shutting down.
You got to start separating all the brown
Closing out the
M&Ms.
event.
Yeah.
That's
Closing out the Leinenkugel summer kickoff. Tomorrow, we want all the KQ listeners and the Twin Cities to come over, take that hour-and-a-half drive due east on I-94. Traffic will not be bad tomorrow, Saturday. It may be bad tonight, Friday night, going over to the Chip, but not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow.
Come on over to the brewery. Tickets still available. It's a ticketed event because we give you 3 free beers.
I love this. $20. Tickets include 3 pints of beer.
Yes. So,
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Seriously? The things you learn in
it's
a day around
ticketed
here.
event. But it's a ticketed, paid-for event because there is talent there. Not only is the Miss Candace Wheeler going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
That's enough.
You know, the only female of the KQ Morning Show, but the new morning host, Mr. Steve Gorman, and Bagman are going to be there. So we have some great entertainment
Oh, sure. Yeah,
at the event, along with great food, great beer, great people, and most importantly, maybe not most importantly, but great weather. I've always said God loves Leine's. We've been doing this for 20 years, since 2003. We've always had great weather the Saturday before Father's Day. So it may not be looking good here in the Twin Cities tomorrow, late tomorrow afternoon. We need the rain. Everybody needs the rain.
Sure.
But over in Chippewa Falls, no rain.
Yeah.
No rain tomorrow.
You'll get it on Sunday when you need it. Just kind of hose that place down. I'll tell you, you talked about the newest member of the KQ Morning Show, Mr. Gorman here, his new band, the Bagmen, playing over there at 4 o'clock in the Leine's, at the Leine's Lodge. But you didn't talk about a new beer from Leinenkugel.
I know, Zep.
You got a new beer
and thank
for
you
us?
for the reminder. There's not just one new beer.
Really?
There are 2 new beers.
Excited.
And
look out!
And we're bringing back a fan favorite, Leine's Red Lager.
Oh,
Leine's
yes.
Red Lager. It was known as the Better Red. It came out in 1993 as a draft-only beer, and then in 1994 we put it in bottles, and does
that explain not only the red shirt, not only the red shoes, but the red on your face?
Well, Steve, that's high blood pressure.
A living testament to Leine's Red Lager.
I've lived my life here in Minnesota outdoors, and I do not use or even know what sunscreen is. So whenever I meet people, they go, "Why is your face so red?"
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
and
it's Leine's Red Lager,
you're
the Better Red.
A walking billboard for Leine's Red.
Zep.
Yeah. We used to, what we used to call
two new
them?
beers.
Yeah, the Leine's.
Candace Wheeler is super excited. She's not excited. She's super excited for the orange vanilla cream ale.
Wow.
The summer creamsicle. Wow. That will be on tap tomorrow. Leine Lodge, the summer kickoff, Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin.
I can't tell you how many times as a kid the Good Humor truck comes up. I'm eating my creamsicle, and all I'm thinking is, if I just had a beer to go with this. Now I get it all in one.
Tomorrow over in Chippewa Falls, all the KQ listeners, people that don't have anything else to do in the Twin Cities, come on over, hour and a half away, the Leine's summer kickoff at the Leine Lodge in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. Try that new beer, draft only, brewed just weeks ago. 2 weeks ago by our 2 newest brewers, Corinne Georges, a female brewer that we're really proud to have on our staff, and then Jeff Rogers, who we got from Michigan.
Can we call them brew masters or
Yes,
is it brewers?
Absolutely.
What about brew meisters?
You know, brewmeister is something that Zepp would have in his garage or basement.
Okay, got it.
So, and really, we only have one true brewmaster who will be on site tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. He's going to teach people how to taste beer and enjoy Leinenkugel's beer. That's being Mr. John Hensley.
Because what I do is I open it and then I just chug it like this. Yeah, I do that.
Oh.
And then I just pour it back, and I've been tasting it improperly all these years.
What are you guys doing over there in that studio?
Well,
What's happening?
Steve, you know how to drink beer.
I do.
Yeah. There's a difference between drinking beer and tasting beer.
Savoring it.
So,
All right, fair enough.
The other beer, the other new beer, is a true IPA, a true India Pale Ale. Leinenkugel's not known for IPAs like some favorite breweries here in the Twin Cities are known for. We're kind of an old school Germanic brewery, 156 years old, led by 6 generations of family. And we're finally getting into the world of IPAs, and I'm expecting one that I am not going to like tomorrow.
Okay.
I do not like IPAs,
Okay.
and I told Jeff Rogers, our brewer, I said, Jeff, if I can drink it, we're not on the right path. So I want to be punched in the nose with hop.
Okay. All
I
right.
want to be punched in the nose with hop aroma.
Yeah.
Right.
And I want this to be a hop extravaganza in my mouth that even Omar from a great brewery here in Minneapolis would go, wow, I can't believe Leinenkugel's brewed that.
Okay.
So, Steve.
Yes, sir.
Gorman.
Yes.
This is called Bagman IPA.
Bagman
What?
IPA.
Yeah.
You
Oh, isn't that
heard
cool?
it here
I
first.
love it. Oh, man. IPA. You're talking about it. The end of my nose is starting to tingle right here. I can feel it. You know, you talk about those hoppy brews, John, and it took me a while, but I'm out drinking with the kids. They're going to the breweries. They love the IPA. So I'm like, all right, I'm drinking what you're drinking. I don't know the names of these things.
Yeah.
I'll never forget Bagman IPA, though. Go ahead and slide it over here, and it's an acquired taste. Once you stick with it, then you dig it and you crave it, and I can't wait for the Bagman IPA, because I'm really into IPAs these days.
People say to me all the time, hey, what's it going to take to get your band here? And the answer's always been, you got to make us our own beer. And for the first time, someone said, okay.
You've arrived, Gorman.
And it was Leinenkugel's.
People say, that's what I'm saying. Like, people are like, oh, it's your first gig. I'm like, yeah, no one will make us our own beer. But then you guys did, so we said, I guess we got to be a band.
That's like fantasy come true kind of stuff.
Yeah, I never thought anybody would bite that worm. I was just throwing it out there as a reason not to have to work. But when they brew you your own beer, you gotta get the show together. You gotta go rock the people.
Why is it all the way over there?
Steve.
Yes, sir.
Zep just asked a question. What did he ask?
I just said, why is the beer all the way over there? I got to come over there into your studio. I'm going to come crash Studio
well,
C.
I am. I cracked my first beer of the day.
No.
You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. Here I am on the KQ Morning Show. So I just cracked open my first beer, and it happens to be Leinenkugel's Grapefruit Shandy because it's morning.
It is morning.
And the
You need your
aroma.
grapefruit.
The aroma of our grapefruit shandy is absolutely spectacular.
That's Steve's cologne.
We've all heard about the grapefruit diet. There's also the grapefruit shandy diet.
I am
It
on
looks
the
good on you, sir.
the Leinenkugel's diet. It is 2 days of drinking Leinenkugel's beer responsibly, of course.
Of course.
I have a driver. So,
John, I got to ask. Obviously, as you said, family business, 6 generations. Your name is literally Leinenkugel. So, as a kid, at some point early in life, you have some awareness of not everybody has a family business. Not everybody's name is a product. Not everybody. That's a unique sort of view of the world to get. Was there ever a moment in your life when you thought you would not follow the family path and be a part of this brewery? Did you ever think to yourself, by God, I'm going to go to Thailand and fish? Anything like that?
That's an awesome question. And it almost happens every day because every day I am like threatened to, I get told this, there's the door.
Okay.
No one's forcing you to be here.
All right, well.
You can leave anytime you want.
What am I going to do with this name, though? My name is Leinenkugel.
And
in fact, the first time we met.
Steve, you and I have never talked about this, but
No.
I am going to tell you, and you're going to be surprised. One of my passions, and I made a mistake early in life. All of you are going to love this. Tony Lee, Zep, Candace. I wanted.
That's us. That's right. He knows our names.
That is the 4, yeah. But I don't know who your daddy is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's quite
But
all
we
right.
got through that.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a rock jock. I wanted to be a radio DJ. I really did. In college, I was Johnny Smoke in the afternoons, noon to 2.
No.
Swear to God,
Yes.
Johnny Smoke.
What station?
Power 100, 100.1 FM, Menominee, Wisconsin.
Johnny Smoke.
We had a radio studio in the
course you
basement
did.
of the communications building. Yeah, Menominee, Wisconsin. I loved it. And if I followed my true passion,
Right.
I might be here and you might not be.
That's right. I'd be in. I could sleep in.
Right.
We should have had this conversation much earlier in life.
So that's what I wanted to do.
Just a quick heads up: I will never, ever refer to you as anything other than Johnny Smoke.
Right.
From
Johnny
this
Smoke.
moment forward. In fact, I might just go ahead and shorten it to Smoke right now.
I love that.
Sup, Smoke.
Sup, Smoke.
I love that. And I've never smoked, and I still don't. I just quaff Leinenkugel's beer.
Never smoked, but smoking at
Right.
all times.
Right.
Johnny Smoke.
That's why my face is so red.
The first time we met, you introduced yourself. You said, "I'm John Leinenkugel," and I believe I said, "Boy, I hope you're with that beer company with a name like it's like saying my name's Mike Smuckers." Like, boy, I hope you're connected.
So this is great radio. First weekend of February, KQ listeners, you never know what's going to happen in life. First weekend of February, my nephew, current Bury president, Tony Buer, who is a sixth-generation Leinenkugel, and I are out doing some work in Phoenix, Arizona, Scottsdale. We got to do a bucket list item for me. We got to go to the Phoenix Open.
Nice.
And that
Very
was
nice.
really cool, where Leinenkugel Summer Shandy is a sponsor and a big beer out there on the 16th hole, on that famous 16th hole. Anyways, end of the week rolls around. It's Super Bowl week.
Sure it is.
We're getting out of town Friday morning. We can't stay for the Super Bowl. We're not that big a brewer. You know, we had to get back to the Midwest. And we're checking bags in at Delta Airlines. And I got done early, went up to the concourse, and I take a call from Bury president, Tony Buer. Tony Buer goes, "John, I think I just saw Gorman checking in a bag at Delta.
Dun, dun, dun.
I bet he's on your flight back to Minneapolis." And I go, "Okay, well, I don't even know what he looks like. I mean, I know what he did and what he sounds like, and the guy can keep time.
Yeah.
And, keep the peace
Sure.
in a band, in a very dysfunctional rock and roll band.
Sure.
But I don't know what he looks like."
Yeah.
So Tony and I go up to the
Picture
concourse.
like a George Clooney-esque.
We have a Leinenkugel's beer there at Sky Harbor Airport. And I look you up on, Tony looks you up on the, not Tony Lee, but Tony Buer, current Bury president, my nephew.
Current
Yeah.
brewer
I may
president.
displace him tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah, and become Bury president.
So
Would that be cool?
So it's going to be what we would call a smoke show.
Right, at the Leine Lodge summer kickoff, 10 a.m. tomorrow until 6. Anyways, we're having a beer, pull you up on the internet. Okay, I know what he looks like. I go, "Okay, Tony, I'm leaving. I'm going to the gate to see if I can find Gorman." I walk to the gate, and there you are.
There I was.
Big man. You're a Gorman.
Yeah.
Like one of how many? 7, 6 brothers?
I'm the youngest of 8, 6
Youngest
boys,
of 8,
and the runt at 6'3".
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, at 6'3", you're the runt.
Yeah.
So here's this massive individual. Not massive, but
Oh, I'm fine. I've been called worse.
Bigger than life.
I've been called way
Steve Gorman
worse.
with earbuds in. He's talking on the phone.
Yeah.
I wait. I'm like, okay, that's Gorman.
Truth be told, as is my airport protocol, usually just pretending to be talking on the phone so that events like what we're about to hear about don't happen. But I digress. Go ahead.
So I wait for you to end the fake call. And I'm like, okay, John, here's your opportunity. I go up, Steve, you kind of look at me like, who are you? Steve, John Leinenkugel, Jacob Leinenkugel Brewing Company. He goes, what? Who are you? I go, John Leinenkugel, Jacob Leinenkugel Brewing Company, Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. Sponsor of the summer kickoff tomorrow, June 16th, and we're looking for a band called Bagman to headline the event.
Yeah.
And Steve goes, oh, wow, I have a friend that knows and loves your beer. And I gave Steve our business cards, and to Steve Gorman's credit, and this is why he is so welcome here in the Twin Cities and such a great host to lead this KQ morning show. Steve gets on the plane. He immediately texts the the brewery president, Tony Buer, sixth-generation Leinenkugel family member, and he goes, hey, I can't believe you had your uncle, your older uncle, do your dirty work and make the introduction from Leinenkugels to me, Gorman.
Yeah.
You got right back to him.
Sure.
And the next week, there we were at Halftime Rec, welcoming you to the Twin Cities.
We're all having a good time ever since. And it started because we were checking bags, hence Bagmen. Not really, but if you want to say that's why I got the name of the band, go for it.
Full story.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
This is the KQ Morning Show. We are joined still in studio, John Leinenkugel from the Leinenkugel Brewery. 6 generations, 156 years over in Chippewa Falls. How do you say it? Chippewa? I say Chippewa Falls.
If you're local, you say Chippewa. 2 syllables. If you're my brother Dick,
right,
who is highly educated and a very smart Leinenkugel, he's the smartest one of us all.
Okay.
He would say it's Chippewa.
That's what
3
I say.
syllables.
Chippewa. I say Chippewa Falls, but you're saying Chippewa.
Chippewa.
Okay.
Because I'm local. I'm from Chippewa.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about just the chip? Should we call it the chip?
Just call it the chip.
Fair
just
enough.
like Leinenkugels is Leine's.
Yeah, I like it. Hey, Johnny Smoke, can you take a caller?
I tried, and they hung up.
No, they're back. They're back.
Really?
Candace, we have a caller on the show. Who are we talking to?
First of all, check out my Leinenkugel stance over here.
I like the stance,
like
Candace.
it?
Yeah.
Now I can see you,
Working out
Candace.
for you guys.
Queen Leine over there.
Yeah.
Who's on the
I
horn?
thought that was a cardboard cutout.
Tim from Louisiana.
Tim from Louisiana. Good morning, Tim. What's up, brother?
I was just giving you the correct pronunciation of the city in South Louisiana if you was trying to pronounce.
Oh, please. Thank you.
It's pronounced Boutte.
Boutte.
Well.
Yeah, I think it's spelled Boutte.
It sure is.
Bring it
Boutte,
on over.
Louisiana.
Boutte.
Yeah, it's right by Luling, Louisiana, right off the Mississippi River.
Okay.
Love it.
That's good to know. We call that the Mississippi River up here, but you know that's the good thing about this country. You got a lot of land and a lot of different ways of saying things. Boutte, Louisiana.
There is going to be plenty of boutique over at the summer kickoff at the Leine Lodge
The
in Chippewa
countdown
Falls,
clock. I
Wisconsin.
knew
tomorrow.
it would be less than 30 seconds before you took that leap. Hey, thank you for the call, brother. We appreciate that. John Leinenkugel, Johnny Smoke, to the more discerning listener,
Yes.
here with us ahead of tomorrow's big day at the Chip. Trip to the Chip. My band Bagmen is playing, along with a couple other local artists from the Chippewa Falls area, an all-day event, 10 to 6, over at the Leinenkugel Brewery. That's going to be a blast at the Leine Lodge.
Yeah, 2 warm-up bands before Bagmen.
Yeah.
Good bands. 10 to noon, local band called Uncommon Denominator. Get things kicked off and rocking, and then a fun party band called the Dweebs that kind of everybody in the Chippewa Valley knows.
Okay.
But you, my friend, you need to get a little rest tonight after the KQ karaoke cruise.
There's no rest for the wicked, baby.
Right, not in rock and roll.
We're going to play an all-nighter.
Right,
We'll do the cruise, then we'll be rehearsing all night. As a music fan, let's go back to the early days. First concert you ever saw, John Leinenkugel, what was it? Look at that smile on his face. He's looking. Oh, come on.
Yeah, no. Well,
there's
there's going to be a portion of people that are going to go, oh, God.
Well, but there's going to be people who are at the same show, I guarantee it.
There will be, because it was here.
What
it
year?
was at the old Met Center.
Okay.
It was February 1983.
I like it already.
I saw Wendy O. Williams
of
the Plasmatics
Yes.
open up for a band from my childhood that I grew up with that I still have not let go of. Just like my Leinenkugel's beer, I went and saw for the first time Kiss.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
That
you
was
did.
my first concert, my first rock experience. I have since seen Kiss over 90 times.
Wow.
Maybe
90.
over 100. I've stopped counting, Candace.
That's a lot.
I've stopped counting or keeping the tickets because we no longer get tickets anymore. But it's a lot. It's a sickness. My brothers call it sick, which is Kiss backwards. And they also have said this to me, Steve, Tony, and Zep, and Miss Candace. They have said, John, if you have put your energy into Leinenkugels and selling Leinenkugels beer, if you have put as much energy into that as you could into selling Leinenkugels beer, we would have to build another brewery.
Well, John, we've got a surprise for you. Paul, come on in. Paul Stanley,
stop
ladies and gentlemen.
God, I actually looked.
He looked.
I looked. My heart stopped.
How you doing, brother? We appreciate that support for all these years.
Hello, Smoke.
I actually looked because I do know that Ace Frehley and Gene Simmons have been in this studio.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
And I did not get that invite. Yeah.
Well, if it happens again, so will you be seeing Kiss this year? This is it. This is the farewell tour.
Well, it's the farewell tour,
right?
But these two hard-working rock and rollers from New York City that love everybody's money, that are 73, 71, and then along with...
okay, listen, let's not disparage the God of Thunder or the Star Child.
Right. They're not going to stop.
You got one Kiss album. You're leaving, and you're only taking one with you. Which is it? Don't say Music from the Elder. No one really likes it that much.
1981.
Yeah, everybody says it's really good. No, that's the album of Kiss. Actually, it's really amazing.
Right.
Stop.
Every Kiss fan would probably say this. If you're only going to give them one, it would be 1976's Destroyer.
Yes, I knew you were going to say Destroyer.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you. Yeah. Right. I mean, that's how it starts, but produced by legendary producer from the Alice Cooper days, Bob Ezrin. Put those guys, really taught those guys, much like you went through, Steve, kind of a boot camp. You went out on the road, you learned how to be in a rock and roll band and a rock and roll drummer, but then somebody took the band in a studio and taught you how to actually record and make a great rock record.
The history of Kiss every Friday on the KQ Morning Show at this time with Johnny Smoke.
I wish.
I would love that.
Tomorrow, my band Bagman plays at the Leine Lodge. We will open, as Kiss did on Kiss Alive 2, with Detroit Rock City. Of course, that's a staple. That's not true either. But we actually are playing tomorrow. And, John, it's going to be a great day. We've been looking forward to this for months. And boy, I know this from anecdotally, I know this. The Leine Lodge and the people at Leinenkugel, they put on a good time. They roll out the red carpet.
Yeah.
You guys go to the wall for your people.
It's my sister Lynn, a fifth-generation Leinenkugel, is going to be checking people in at the front entrance. Oh, wow. Her shift, she's got a long shift, Zep. She has to work from 10 a.m. all the way up to 6 p.m. because... you can't let anybody in for free.
That's going to take it's going to be a lot of grapefruit shandy for her to get her through that 8-hour shift.
I love that you said you can't let anyone in for free because tickets are $20 and you get 3 pints of beer.
Yeah. And you get to see the debut performance of Steve Gorman and Bagman. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I love it. That
$25 tomorrow, though, day of show.
Oh, okay.
Save $5 now.
And go to Leine.com.
Thank you.
And get all set up, get pre-registered. Makes it easy. Just check in with Lynn Leinenkugel tomorrow at the Leine Lodge in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, and boom, you're in.
Yeah.
You're in the fenced-in area, and 3 free pints of great-tasting Leinenkugels beer await you, along with a lot of food trucks and Bagman at 4 o'clock. And the entire KQ Morning Show team, including Mr. Tony Lee.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Zep.
What?
Miss Candace Wheeler. We'll all be there.
KQ Morning Show chicken fights at 3 p.m. You don't want to miss that.
Don't forget, hey, and with the Bagman, you've got the new Bagman IPA, Leinenkugel Bagman IPA, and Bags Tournament. I mean, this is, my God, where else would you be?
Right. And the weather is going to be spectacular.
Yeah, baby.
Tomorrow.
We can spend the rest of today looking forward to tomorrow, but right now we're going to look back. It's time for a history lesson.
Did you know this?
Hey, did you know this?
Okay, this is interesting.
This is interesting. What is it?
Sports and
music history.
Smarts and music history on June 16th, 1970. A football player for the Chicago Bears passed away. It was a terribly sad story. Made far sadder a few years later when some jerks in Hollywood made a movie about it and broke the heart of every man in America year in and year out. I'm speaking, of course, about Brian Piccolo. The young running back from Wake Forest died of cancer. The movie Brian Song James Caan, Billy D. Williams came out, and every time that sucker aired, men wept.
That was like my generation's Old Yeller.
It absolutely was. Over in Wisconsin, basketball team over there by the name of the Milwaukee Bucks, you may be familiar with, Johnny Smoke. They traded Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to the Lakers on this day in 1975.
Wow.
Jabbar said, I don't want this to seem like a blast to the people in the city, but Milwaukee is not what I'm about.
Which was a blast.
And by the way, he was right.
Yeah.
It's true. He's not you think of Jabbar, you think of LA, you think of the Lakers, you think of the greatness, but he did not leave the city empty-handed. He, of course, brought a title to the Milwaukee metropolitan area. So, I think it's a fair trade.
And you know who gave the Lakers to the LA area?
What does that mean? What city? What
Yeah.
group? But yeah, the
Prior Lake.
Well, not Prior Lake.
Prior Lake Lakers, baby.
The Minneapolis Lakers.
Yeah.
The 17 NBA titles that the Los Angeles Lakers claim, a few of those came from here. And so Celtics fans are always like, you don't get to claim those. That was the Minneapolis Lakers. But whatever.
The KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.